So we have a Polestar 2 here.
Yes, it was actually a Volvo's performance division, and now it makes electric cars. First one, the Polestar 1, actually was a hybrid, and this one, the Polestar 2, is fully electric.
And it competes with Model 3
Yes,
of Tesla, yeah? It's a competitor.
Its main rival is Tesla Model 3. And this one actually comes in 3 variants, which has
two motors.
Yes, 2 motors.
One has 2 motors, another one is a long range, and there's a standard also model for it.
A single motor.
Single motor with
yes.
64 kilowatt hour battery. The long range one has a 75 kilowatt hour battery, just like one with 2 motors. The difference is that performance model brings you up to 100 in 4.7 seconds.
But, as we mentioned before, this used to be a Volvo performance division.
Yeah.
And as for a performance division, 4.7 seconds is, yes, it's not that impressive.
It's not impressive at all.
The main rival, Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model 3 performance gets from 0 to 100 in how much?
3.2.
3.2. That's that's more than a second faster.
Yes.
And it's only expensive like 6,000 euros. Is it worth buying this one?
We will find that out. What do we see while sitting in here? Well, it's minimalist.
It's minimalist, but it's not as minimalist as Tesla is.
Yeah, that one is just overkill for a name of minimalism. This one has some more like buttons and etc. in here. You do feel more surrounded.
Yes.
One thing that literally is in my way of my leg is touching this center console. It's huge, it's massive.
Yes, even for a passenger, as I'm sitting in this seat, in this position, my leg is just rubbing against the center console.
Yeah, but looking at the quality of all these surroundings that we have here, we do have a dash that kind of reminds me of 3D printed material that is probably some sort of vegan material because it's environment friendly, something like that.
Yeah, it's probably all of the materials are vegan and environment friendly, but I don't like it. It feels cheap to me. It's like sort of
but it's well built. It's not like
it's well built, but I don't like how it feels.
It doesn't make any squeaks or scratch.
But it's scratchy. Everything is scratchy.
Yeah, because it's quite hard material.
Yes, and it feels cheap. I know it's not cheap, but if there is an option for leather interior, because even the seats, they are not leather.
Yep. They're also vegan.
They're also vegan. I have no idea what material is this.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, it's a cheap car, but then again, for about the same price, you could buy a Tesla Model 3.
Come on. If talking about infotainment on this car, it's superior. So we have here Android infotainment system.
And that is really nice because
it's superior.
Android is making touch screen controls for a really long time, so they really know how to do that, because all we have here is only 1, 2, 3, 4 physical buttons that you can use. One of them is hazards, another 2 is the wind defrost.
And volume.
Yeah, so the only button for the system is volume and play and stop the music. That's it. Everything else is controlled with this touchpad.
Also, Polestar comes with Harman Kardon. We have a logo here on the dash. They used to put logos like on side speakers and etc. But Instead of that, they put this little knob here. Overall, we've tested and we did really like the Harman Kardon.
Well, it sounds nice, but then again, it's
You can hear
nothing special because
yeah.
all of those new cars sound really adequate. Speaking of practicality and the storage space, what do you think of it? What do you have over there?
Absolute nightmare, because I'm going to put a Tesla up here, because there in the center console you can literally put a child.
Oh,
That's huge space under there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, also this talking about this center console that is always in your way. I'm not sure where I can probably rest my arm here.
As this car is not exactly a saloon, it's more like a crossover, which
Well, it at least kind of reminds it.
yeah, kind of reminds it. So we took a little bit of off-roading.
It's not really off-roading, but it's just a pothole after a pothole, which has another pothole in a pothole.
Yeah, it's a small road in a forest. So I bet that Volkswagen has a lot more comfort than we do.
I do feel like
I mean, it's not too bad because the potholes are quite big, but well, yeah, you could really feel that one was big one.
yeah, it's a big one. The nice thing is that I do not hear any extra cracking or squeaky noises. That's
far.
nice, but it's kind of stiff. The suspension is stiff. I do feel everything on the road, and I do sit on quite uncomfortable seats. They're not uncomfortable, but they are kind of Volkswagen Golf standard, I would say. So it's not pleasant to drive here.
This car is priced really well when you compare everything. It gets up to speed really fast. It has a decent
Yep.
range. Interior is not superior to us, but I mean, it's not bad. I mean, when you said it's not squeaking, it's the build quality is really nice. Just those vegan materials is not my favorite.
Looking from the outside, it's quite sharp, aggressive, mean looking.
And it's not as boring
not
as
Volvo.
as Tesla was.
Yep. So we do have some Volvo segments here from the front grille.
What used to be a grill.
What used to be a grill. It's no
electric car. It doesn't need to have a
now
grill.
it has some sensors in there, etc.
But I really like that they left this part, because in the most electric cars, as they do not have a grill, it looks like there's something missing there. So
Yep.
they
Fills it up.
Yeah, they made something that looks like a grill and filled it up with sensors. So that's a nice compromise.
Also, you have these nice headlights. Those do remind me a little bit of F30 BMW because of this
Don't talk
little
about
bit there.
BMW.
Sorry.
You know what's nice? The side mirrors are really nice. They are frameless.
Yeah, frameless.
That's really impressive. And you know
If you
what?
take a look at this bit there, it has like a very sharp edge on the door. So it looks like it's made of Scandinavian axe.
And also, when you lift the window, this part right here is also really
Sharp.
sharp. That's not something you would see every
Yep.
day on a car. And back to the mirrors, did you know that they are actually patented by Polestar?
Really?
Yeah, and nobody else can use it unless they buy it from Polestar.
That's ridiculous.
It's quite funny because the Polestar, as we mentioned, came from a Volvo, and Volvo invented seat belts, and they made it free for everyone to use. This is, I believe, the second thing that's major that came from, well, let's say a Volvo, but they patented it, and it's not free to use for everyone.
Going to the main look of it, it's quite tall, it's quite thick, It doesn't really look like an SUV. It doesn't look
not an
really
SUV.
like a hatch,
It's not
but
a hatch.
they claim it's a saloon.
It can be a saloon. It's too high to be a saloon. It has a trunk opening like a hatchback. It's not an SUV because it's too low and too small for an SUV. It's like a mix of all of them, like a crossover, but not really a crossover as well. So,
All in all, pretty looking thing.
okay, so we have driven this car around. What is your opinion? Do you like it?
I do actually, even though I was kind of harsh, but it's quite comfortable, kind of. Not really, but it's quality. So I did like that. It has good performance on acceleration. Also quite decent range. So
And
basically,
the price is adequate.
and yeah, and the price is adequate. It puts you where you need to be. So I have
perfect-
positive feelings for it.
A perfect daily driver.
Yeah, I would say so.
So, for example, let's rate this car on a scale. So,
Okay.
let's talk about power. How would you
Power.
rate it from 1 to 10?
For what it is and for how it pulls and for what I feel, I would say 8 because there's more powerful ones. And what you expect from a EV?
For myself, I mean, it's not the fastest EV around, but it gets up to speed quite fast. So, as for a daily driver, I would say I would give it a 7. I think that's a reasonable score.
And a comfort?
Comfort. Oh, I mean,
You're a tall
It's-
guy, tell me.
for that kind of comfort, I would give it, I don't know, like a 3 or a 4. I mean, even when you get to the driver's seat and you try to put on the seatbelt, your fingers always get to that
Catching.
plastic. It doesn't feel nice. And even getting in or out of this car, it's quite difficult for me. So for that kind of comfort, I would give it a 3. But for a ride comfort, it's quite high saloon or a crossover, as we decided. It's quite adequate, so I would say 7 for that. What about you?
Yeah, probably something around the same for me.
And for interior
It's quite
comfort?
stiff, but comfortable, kind of in a way that it doesn't make any noises.
And for the interior comfort, how was your sitting?
Uh,
How did you sit in it?
decent? I would give it 6.
6. All
Yeah.
right.
To conclude, it's reasonable. I like it. I would buy it, probably, maybe. Tell what you think about it.
In the comments.
Leave it in the comments. Give us a like, a dislike. Please subscribe, share, and watch our channel, EV Motors Live.
Yeah, see you around.
See you around.